guys, I'm Madison Mary and welcome back to my channel. Today I have an updated manga collection for you guys. So the last time I updated my manga collection was ages ago, and I've accumulated a lot more. If you guys have not seen my other two manga collection videos, I'll leave them linked down below so you can check them out. I've mentioned this before, but I buy all my mangas either at used bookstores or at the website called Right Stuff. But without further ado, let's get started. Volumes 1 through 10 of The Switch Girl. This is, you know, obviously not in English, but I bought them when I was in New York last time, and I got all these for $13. Because if you guys didn't know, Switch Girl is one of my favorite live actions and also one of my favorite mangas to read. I read them initially online because they are not translated into English. I have seen and love to rewatch over and over again the K-drama for it, and it's really one of my favorites. So it's about, oh my god, what's her name? I can't even look at the back to see what her name is because I can't read it. It's about this girl and she has two kind of lives. She has an on switch and an off switch, and her sister and her mum are all the same, where when they leave their house it's flipping on the on switch and they are these beautiful, like, gorgeous girls, and then when they come home they do the off switch and they're like just like these messy ass like chicks who aren't like attractive looking anymore and all that kind of stuff. But what happens is one day she is at home and her mum's like, hey, you have to go out, like, I forgot to buy the cucumbers and the cucumbers are on sale. So like you have to go out and buy them, because this whole thing, like, you stuff the cucumbers as many as you can in a bag and you get them all for like $1. And so she's like, I got you, mum, like, I'll do it. And she goes, and when she's there acting like a complete dweeb, she bumps into this like dude. Then it turns out that he actually lives in the same apartment complex, and she's like, oh, interesting, whatever. Next day, he rocks up to their school and is like, yo, I'm the new transfer student, and she's like, oh crap, he's seen me in my off mode. And so it's like their kind of romance, because he also technically has an on and off mode where, like, when he takes off his glasses, they're fake glasses, he's like uber hot, but he likes to wear the glasses so he looks like a dweeb and like no one else. Like, yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorites, and this is probably the one that I'm gonna ramble about the most in this video because I love it so much. My Heavenly Hockey Club, this is volume 2. Volume 1 is very hard to find. Also, it's like super expensive on Amazon for some reason. This is about a girl who gets hit by a car and then just like keeps going, and the guy who's in the car is this very rich affluent guy, comes out and is like, join the hockey team, and she's like, no. She's like, I chose this high school because it's literally a 3-minute walk from my house, so I can sleep in until the last minute because sleep is precious to me. My hobby is napping. Anyway, he ends up blackmailing her with like, well, you did damage to my car when you hit it with your body. And she's like, so she ends up joining the hockey team, and it's about all their little escapades and the hilariousness of it. And by hockey, I mean like field hockey, which shocked me and made me so happy because I played field hockey growing up. So I picked up Kiss Me at the Stroke of, I'm gonna sit a bit closer. Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight. This is volume 4. I own volumes 1 and 2 already, but this is a manga about a girl who ends up falling in love with this famous, like, is he just like a regular star, or is he like a pop star? But I really love the art style of this. It's super pretty. The only issue with the first 2 books is the fact that the guy is like kind of obsessed with butts, which, it's whatever, it's fine. I then had a reading vlog where I read 4 specific mangas in a weekend. One of those was Stepping on Roses. I didn't like this, but it's basically about this girl who ends up getting propositioned by this wealthy guy that he will help her financially if she agrees to marry him. But it's set like in, I don't know what period of time it's set in, but I really just didn't like it at all. But I've been told to keep on going with it, so we'll see. We then have Monkey High volume 3. I own volumes 1 and 2 already. That's gonna be a very common theme in this, me saying that, but it's fine. Monkey High is about this girl who ends up having to transfer schools because her dad was involved in a huge corruption scandal, and her new school, her new classmates remind her of monkeys. And it's a really cute romance between the 2 characters on the cover, and I really like it. I want to read more of them, and so I'm trying to keep an eye out for whenever I see them at used bookstores. Next we have one of my favorite mangakas, Natsume Ando. This is one of her series called ɪṛisa. So we follow these two twin sisters. However, when this starts off, one of them jumps out of the window to try and kill herself. And the reason why is because they go to two different schools, and they don't even live together, I don't think. Their sister's name is ɪṛisa, the one who jumped out the window. And so her twin decides to look into the reason why, because when she jumped out the window, there was a card with her that said, ɪṛsᴛᴏ is a traitor. And so the twin sister decides to put on a wig and pretend to be ɪṛisa and go to her school in order to find out what happened, what's going on. And as it turns out, the classroom, well, this entire school pretty much, but her classroom specifically, participates in this game called the King Game. And it's this online internet presence, and it basically is a huge group bullying thing, and it's crazy. And so the twin sister is trying to find out what the hell's going on and what happened to her sister. It's a crazy, like, messed up story. It's cool though at the same time. I then picked up volumes 5 and 6 of Mixed Vegetables. I always laugh at the name of this. But this is a series that follows this girl and a guy, and the girl comes from a family of bakers, like very famous bakers, but she wants to be a sushi chef. Forgot the word. And then for this guy who comes from a very affluent sushi chef family who wants to be a baker. And so the girl dates this guy in the hopes that she will marry him and then get into the family business and become a sushi chef. It's really sweet and it's really fun. I love mangas that have to do with food just because it's always like just so pleasing to look at. Then we have volumes 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. There was no 4 or 6. But we follow a girl whose mother just passed away, and so she ends up going to live with her estranged grandfather, who is the head of a very famous Yakuza gang. And she's like, oh my god, no. And so her grandfather ends up giving her a personal guard to look after her because she's going to be targeted now that she's, you know, living with him. And this guy is one of the most popular guys in school. We then have such a beautiful series, and that is Say I Love You. Oh god, that really white balanced. We follow Mei Tachibana, and she's like an outcast at the school, and everyone makes fun of her, but she really doesn't care because she lives by this one saying that, you know, you don't need friends to survive in life. But one day, this dude goes to flick up her skirt and she gets pissed and turns around to go kick the person, and she ends up kicking the wrong dude, and the dude she does kick is the most popular guy in school, who's very attractive, by the way. Like, let me show you what he looks like. That is him. And he's like, you know what, I want to be your friend. After she kicks him down the stairs, he's like, I want to be your friend. And then they start like a romance, and it's such a beautiful romance because it's all about like learning love and consent, and it's such like an honest story about this girl who thought that she didn't need friends in life because she doesn't trust people, learning to trust people again. And also just her raw perception of life is just really interesting to read about, and I love the development of this. I've read the entire series. I finally got my hands on The Earl and the Fairy Volume 1. I've always wanted to read this. So we follow Lydia, and she is a fairy doctor. She's one of the few people who can see magical creatures, and she's going on a trip one day to London to go see her father. She only does this every once in a while, and she's on the train. She gets attacked by kidnappers, and then this dude comes in to save her, and so we go. Then when I was at ALA, I got a free copy of Demon Slayer, which I've only heard amazing things about. Everyone loves the anime, so I wanted to kind of give the manga a read. I'm gonna read this and then start watching the anime, just because whenever I do anything vice versa, it just never ends up happening. We then have Evergreen Volume 1. This is about a girl who has a congenital heart disease, and so because of that she can't participate in gym class with everyone else, and she's always like on the sidelines and just watching. But the gym teacher ends up making her take after school lessons in swimming to make up for everything, like at a slower pace, so it's okay for her. And she ends up training with this guy that is her crush and is the ace swimmer that she's only ever been able to watch from afar. I then got Full Metal Alchemist Volume 1 in the Full Metal edition from Sarah at Novel Serendipity. It made me so happy. I love FMA. It's one of my favorite animes of all time, and one of the best dubs I think I've also watched. But this is the wonderful Full Metal edition, and it's just like beautiful, high quality, and I haven't even explained what this is about. FMA follows two brothers, Edward and Alphonse, and when they were younger, they tried to bring their mum back to life using alchemy, even though it's one of the biggest stipulations of alchemy is to not do that, but they do it anyway. And due to the law of equivalent exchange, Ed ends up losing an arm and a leg, and Alphonse ends up losing his entire body, except for the fact that Ed ends up sealing his soul to a metal suit. And so it's the two of them trying to track down the Philosopher's Stone in the hope that they can bring their bodies, well, mostly Alphonse's body back and Ed's arm and leg. But honestly, it's a crazy ass series and I love it. We then have My Hero Academia Volume 1, which was gifted to me from Nikki over at ᴛᴏᴏᴅᴅᴅ, so thank you, boo. I have heard only raving reviews about this series, especially from my dear friend Soleil. She freaking loves it and has been trying to get me to watch it for like a year now, probably. And I was like, no, I don't want to watch it until I read it. So now I finally have it. So like, I don't have any excuse anymore. So I need to get around to it. But this follows a world where everyone has, what are they called? Quirks. And these are like superpowers that manifest in people. And a majority of people have these quirks. Except we have our main character, Izuku, who does not have a quirk. And yet he still wants to be a superhero. And so it's about him going to a prestigious high school for budding heroes. I then have The Promised Neverland Volume 1. Not gonna say at all what this is about just because I've been told to go into it blind, and so I don't really know what it's about. It's about a orphanage under a care of someone called a mom, except for the fact that Emma and Norman one day uncover the dark truth of the outside world they'd been forbidden from seeing. Dun 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 dun. We have Our Hair Ride Volume 2. I'm slowly collecting these. I've read it all before, watched everything before. It's one of my most beloved series. We follow Futaba, and she goes to school and she puts on this whole like tomboy persona so that other girls won't be jealous of her, because she had a lot of bullying as a kid growing up because she was like this beautiful flowery female, and like all the guys instantly liked her, and so the girls like hated her for that. And then we also follow her childhood crush, who has transferred back to their town and into the high school, and she tries to, you know, start things back up with him, but he's not having it. He hates her and hates everything and everyone, and so it's a cute love story in the end, but it takes a lot to get there, and we got a lot of sad boy hours in it. I then have, I always mess up this name, Komomo Confessory. This is Volume 1. So we follow Komomo, and she growing up was this, you know, very wealthy girl, and she used to pick on the pastry chef's son all the time. And 10 years later their family fortune is gone, and she ends up coming back in contact with this pastry chef's son, who is now a pastry chef of his own, and he agrees to help her out financially if she agrees to work with him at his confessory. So it's really cute. We then have Kimi ni Todeki Volume 1. Oh, I love this manga series. It's so cute. We follow Sawako, and everyone makes fun of her because she looks like the girl from The Grunge. It's really sad because all she wants is to make friends, but no one wants to be friends with her. And then one day the most popular guy in the school is in her class, and he's determined to make friends with everyone. So he tries to make friends with her, and it's so cute, and she's so cute, and I love it. It's such a pure series. Like, this series is so pure and beautiful. Not so pure and beautiful. We have Happy Marriage Volume 1. Guys, I wish I owned all of these. I've only read Volume 1 and I freaking loved it. So it's about this girl who has an arranged marriage to this wealthy company president, and it's their love story and like all the issues that they have. Arranged marriages within, and they have to like pretend in the workplace that they're not actually married, is one of the best tropes in the entire world, and so it's great. Okay, up next we have Volume 1, 2, and 8 of Everyone's Getting Married. So I read Volume 1 and freaking loved it. It's about this girl whose boyfriend of like, how many years? Like a while, just breaks up with her because even though she put her entire career on hold for him to like help him like become successful, he drops her because he's like, well, now I'm super successful, I don't need you anymore, bye. And she's like, and now I'm never gonna get married and have children. She gets hella drunk one night and then with her friend and then ends up staying at his place. Her friend has a roommate who is this uber hot dude who doesn't believe in marriage, and the two of them hit it off in romance. We then have an incurable case of love. It's about a girl who had this like encounter with a guy, a young doctor, when she was like in her teens, and decided, I'm gonna become a nurse now so I can follow him because he's awesome. And she becomes a nurse, ends up at the same hospital as him, confesses to him, and he goes, "You're stupid." And she's like, oh. And he's this horrible person, not the kind of guy that she built him up to be in her head. And it's about them. We then have The Delinquent Housewife, the complete collections. I got these on sale at Right Stuff. There was like a whole bundle deal going on and I was like, yes, please. So it's about Kamugi, and she ends up moving in with her fiance who lives with his parents. And then he goes on a business trip and leaves her with the in-laws basically. And they are very hesitant about her because she used to be part of this biker gang, and so she's trying to keep her past a secret and try and be like the perfect housewife to like prove to these parents that like their son should marry her. And I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I just feel like I'm gonna love it. Oh, look, there's like a little color thing on the middle. Oh, do they all have it? No. Oh, that's so nice. What a little surprise. Oh, I love surprises. I then have Princess Jellyfish Volume 1, which was gifted to me by Ali from the Hardback Hoarder, and this literally made my birthday. I was so excited when I got this because I have been dying to own Princess Jellyfish. It's about this girl who has a strange fascination with jellyfish. She moves to Tokyo and lives in this place, which is basically like a safe haven for geek girls, is what it says. She ends up crossing paths with this very fashionable lady that people have been trying to avoid at all costs, and that's really all I know, and I'm excited. We then have Ducati and Hana. This is volumes 1 through 5, but this is about Hana, and her older sister has this arranged marriage meeting to go to, and the older sister is in love with this other guy, so she's like, no, I'm not going. So the dad makes Hana go in her stead, and this guy is Ducati, and he's this young but wealthy potential business dude, and they actually hit it off, even though she's a 16-year-old girl pretending to be like in her early 20s and he is in his early 20s. So the age gap is technically an issue if you really think about it, but it's manga, so like it doesn't really count, and it's about the two of them and they're like romance, and it's really cute because yes, like the good thing with mangas is it's always kept PG, so there's no consent issues, okay? Because I know people are gonna ask me about this and I just don't want to get into it, please, okay? Then we have Blackbird Volumes 1 through 3. I read this manga series a couple of years ago and I came across them at Half Price Books and was like, maybe I should do a reread. Let's buy them. That's literally what I do. I'm so bad. Whenever I go into Half Price Books and I see like a manga, I'm like, oh my god, $3? Yes. And then I buy like 20 of them and it's like, did I really save money in the end considering I just spent like $60? So there's like myth and magic in the world, but regular humans can't see it. Except for our protagonist. She can. And she hates that she can see into the mystical, magical world and wants nothing to do with it. The issue is that she's actually the bride of the prophecy, and her blood actually gives power to demons. And so demons are trying to hunt her, including this man we got here on the front cover. We then have Sakura Hime. This is volumes 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah. I already own volume 1. I've owned volume 1 for years, and so I finally got around to owning the rest of the volumes. Once again, this is Arina Tanemura. She is one of my favorite mangakas of all time. She's just, the woman is talented and just, like, can you see anyone who has like such an amazing art style? Like, it's just always so pretty and just beautiful. Like, I can't get over her art style. It's one of my favorites. So I'm just gonna read it from here because every single time I try and explain this, I always end up forgetting something. So this is about Princess Sakura, and she is about to be sent off for marriage, and she's like new, so she runs away, and ever since she was little she's been told, yo, don't look at the moon, and she's like, while I'm running away, why not just look at the moon? And so she looks at the moon, and then suddenly demons come to try and kill her, And that's when it is revealed that she is the descendant of this other princess. She has the power to wield this like mystical sword that allows her to defeat the demons, but at the same time, she also finds out her soul symbol, and her soul symbol is destroy. So it's like, how is she gonna be a savior if she's destined to destroy? I didn't go all the way back to see like what was the last volume I updated you guys on that I owned of Waiting for Spring, so I'm just gonna show you guys my entire collection, which is volumes 1 through 11. For some reason, I'm pretty sure I've only read the first 4 volumes because I was like, I'm gonna wait till they all come out and then read them all at once. And so I now am up to this. And there's still a couple more to come out, so we'll see. By the way, if you guys can hear construction, they've been doing construction outside for the entire weekend to the extent that they've actually knocked out the internet a couple times, which has resulted in me being very upset. This series is about Mitsuki, and she doesn't really have any friends. And one day she's at her cafe that she works at, and the most popular boys in school rock up there, and they're the basketball club boys, and she strikes up a friendship with them. And it's a very cute romance. There is a bit of a love triangle because of her childhood best friend comes back into town. That whole, we love that plot point. And it's a plot point of her childhood friend comes back into town, and oh my god, he was a boy. That probably sounds weird to people who don't read manga, but it's the whole idea of, oh, as a kid, like, he was always dressed up as a girl, like, he was always treated as a girl, so obviously he was a girl, and now it's like, oh my god, he a hottie. Last time I updated you guys, I only had 1 volume of this. I now own volumes 1 through 7 of Missions of Love by Emma Toyama. This is one of my favorite kind of problematic series. But we're not going to talk about the whole problematic part of it. This is about Yukina, and in her school she is called the Ice Princess, Ice Queen, Ice Princess. One of those two things. But she's actually the renowned cell phone novelist Yupina. Online, that's like her pen name. The thing is that her fans are starting to kind of get bored of her cell phone novel because the romance in it isn't really going anywhere. And the issue is that Yukina has no knowledge of romance. So when she comes across the most popular boys in school slash, I think he's the class president's, little black book, she decides to blackmail him with it in order to learn the steps of love. And it's all these different missions that she does with him, and I love it. It's like a bit more on the steamy side compared to other mangas, but still like PG. Like on the back it says 16 plus, which so like, it's nothing bad, but I will mention this once again, that she has kind of her cousin's in love with her, which a lot of people get weirded out by that when I mention that it's a common manga trope that like cousins have relations. But it's very common, and I don't know what else to tell you guys. Yeah, like, here we go. You see this? I probably just scarred so many people showing that. Also from Emma Toyama, we have Manga Dogs volumes 1 through 3. This is about this girl who is a very famous mangaka, and she goes to like this public school and she decides to join their manga club for fun because she wants to, you know, have some normal high school experiences. But when she gets there, it's just these 3 dumbass dudes who like don't know what they're doing, and so they look at her and they're like, BL senpai! And so she becomes their mangaka senpai. I'm so excited to tell you guys that I currently own volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Kitchen Princess! If you guys didn't know, I have owned volumes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for the last 15 years. And the reason for that is because when I was younger, my dad would always travel to the US and buy me mangas. And I told him one time, I was like, oh Dad, can you get me volume 6 of Tokyo Mew Mew and volume 1 of Kitchen Princess? And he's like, yeah, I got you. He came back and he's like, here you go. And I go, Actually, I didn't tell him it for like the longest time because I felt so bad. But he ended up getting me volume 6 of Kitchen Princess and volume 1 of Tokyo Mew Mew a la Mode, which is the spin-off series. And I was like, oh, that's fine. But I will say, Kitchen Princess, this series seems so fluffy to a lot of people, but it tackles so many serious topics. There's a girl in here who is a model, and there's a lot of talk about even sort of representation in it. Loss of a loved one and like death is a huge thing in this, and my main character Najika, she has like grew up in an orphanage. It really is one of my all-time favorites, and Natsumi Endo is one of my all-time favorites. But yeah, this follows Nojika, and she's always been an amazing chef, and she ends up getting a full ride to this prestigious school, which is all about like people having different talents. And so she's got a full ride to be like one of their aspiring chef students. And the reason why she picked this school was because she, as a child, received a flan with this spoon that had the academy's name on it. And it was from this boy that she instantly fell in love with, and so she hopes that by going to this academy she will find the boy again. Lastly, let me give you a quick update on my Ma collections. So here's my Ma collection. This is my favorite shonen manga. Oh god, please don't fall. I'm volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm just missing volumes 6 and 10. So I'm so close to being done. I've been trying to recollect them for eons. We used to own them all. My brother used to own them all, and then he decided to give them all to my cousin. And this is a series about Ginta, and his dad went missing as a kid because he used to always talk about this amazing magical land that everyone was like, he's crazy. And then Ginta has had these dreams about this other world, and then one day he ends up actually getting dragged into this other world. And when he gets there, he is considered like practically the hero, and it's his hero quest to kind of help when he like gets his powerful arms are these trinkets that end up having magical properties that you use to attack and fight and do different things. And when he gets to the magical land, this arm that he gets, Babo, who is this is Babo. Meet Babo, say hello. This is Dorothy the Witch, she's my favorite. But because this arm is so powerful, people want it, but he has it. And so the chess, who are the evil people, they're called the chess pieces. They all have like, that's how the rankings are. So you have like pawns, and there's like obviously the king, and there's the queen. It's about him fighting the chess and trying to take them down eventually. And it's really cool because there are these tournaments that happen, and so you have like a team that you fight, and you fight other people, and it's different teams that fight against the chess pieces. And if you get all the way to the final round, you get to see the king and kill him basically, which is what Ginta's ultimate goal is. But it's a really fun, amazing series. It's hard to find nowadays because, god, when was this even published? Like, whew, a long time ago. 2005, really? Wow. Yeah, me and my brother first got into this series as an anime. We watched the anime through and through. It's one of our favorites to this day, it still is. We have Midnight Secretary volumes 1 and 2. This is about a woman who is the secretary to this man who ends up being a vampire. I then have Yona of the Dawn volumes 1 through 5. This is one of my most favorite anime series that only has 1 season because so many animes only have 1 season and it just depresses me. But we follow Yona, and she is this princess, and her dad ends up getting murdered by her fiance, and her fiance then tries to kill her, so she runs away. And that's what it's about. It's about her running away and then trying to eventually reclaim her kingdom. And then lastly we have volume 2 of Time Stranger Kyoko. I have owned volume 1, like everything else, for like 15 years. I actually got volume 1 from my friend Tina. Hi Tina, if you're watching, there's no way in hell Tina's watching this, but she lent it to me and I never gave it back. And so now it's here with me, all the way from Australia to the United States. So we follow Kyoko, who is the princess of Earth in the 30th century, and she lives among commoners and doesn't want to ascend the throne, and she kind of keeps her identity hidden. And the king says that it's fine, Kyoko can live as she please if she can find a way to revive her twin sister, because the twin sister has been trapped in time since birth. And the only way to revive her twin sister is to find the 12 holy stones and the 12 telepaths to move the clock that has stopped time for her sister. And that's a really cool concept. Bro, the plot twist at the end of this series blew me away. Like, it's crazy. It's a nuts plot twist. Like, if anyone ever says they saw the plot twist coming, I'm just gonna be like, lies, because there's no way. Okay, you guys can't tell, but like everything keeps falling. That is officially it. Let me know if you guys have heard of any of these and if you guys love them too. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, thanks a bunch guys. Bye!